Hello everyone, we've got a lot of videos today, but before we start with all the Total War stuff, we've got a brand new book going on pre-order. This is the Razing of the Westerland, a brand new arcane journal focused around chaos. There's a bunch of changes coming in here, and what we're going to do is we're going to talk about all the new changes. We're going to leave out the items and so on as per usual. Out of respect to Games Workshop, once again, thank you for the early access to the book. And as you guys are aware, I play a lot of chaos, so this is going to be quite interesting. Let's just jump right in, right? We're going to talk about Marauders and Marauder horsemen because now these are the brand new stat lines for them. So for Chaos Marauders, we got movement 4, weapon skill 4, strength 3, ballistic skill 3, toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 3, attacks 1, leadership 6, and there's 6 points a model, with the champion being a little bit better, as you can imagine, and 7 points there. You can get a full command here, so it's 7 points for the champion, 5 points for the standard bearer, 5 points for the musician. All of the Marauders are now on 30 by 30s, so they've all been upgraded, which unfortunately means I have to rebase a lot of crap. Oh boy. But yeah, this was expected, especially as the brand new models are quite large, and I will be carrying over my older models as, yeah, you know, they are pretty cool. They are on a unit of 5+ on a minimum, and will be equipped with hand weapons and light armor. You can then upgrade them to take either great weapons for 2 points per model, flails for 1 point per model, or shields for 1 point per model. These can now be upgraded for 1 point per model for the Cult of the Bloodied Hound, the Carrion Crow, the Slithering Serpent, or the Fell Raptor. We're going to be talking about those cults in just a little bit, so don't you worry about that. And 0 to 1 units per 1,000 points may have the Ambushes special rule for 1 point per model, replace Close Order with Skirmishers for free, or replace Close Order with Open Order for free. You can also take a magical standard, usually up to 50 points, and your current special rules are Close Order, Horde, Mark of Chaos Undivided, because yes, the mark remains, it's just you can't take the other marks, Shield Wall, and Warband. I mean, overall, it's going to be interesting to see how these cults work. I haven't had any time, because as you can imagine, I've been busy with Time to Torment. Not gonna lie, kind of expected the Marauders to be Strength 4, because like they're on bigger bases now, it just kind of makes sense. But, I don't know. I think everything eventually will start slowly moving up to like 30 mils. And like, the Warriors really need an update now, like really badly. So let's jump onto the Marauder Horsemen now. So 30 by 60s, but I think they've been that for a while. So movement 8 with the horse, weapon skill 4, strength 3, ballistic skill 3, I don't know why I keep switching those around, toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 1, 1 attack each, 6 leadership, and 12 points a model, with 7 points being for the champion. You can get full command with the musician and standard bearer being 5 points a model. So the Marauders themselves start with hand weapons, light armor, and shield. So that's pretty good. You actually start off with shields, and you can upgrade for cavalry spears for free, throwing spears for free, or you can take the flails for 1 point a model, or throwing axes for 1 point per model, which isn't too bad. Once again, 1 point per model for all the cults. 0 to 1 per 1,000 points may have the Ambushes special rule for 1 point per model. Replace Open Order with Skirmishers for free, which is great. I like the idea of having Marauder Horsemen as Skirmishers. And then your standard stuff, so your special rules without buying anything extra: Fast Cavalry, Fire and Flee, Mark of Chaos Undivided, Open Order, Swift Stride, and Warband. You're going to be able to make these guys really movable, which is great. So far, very similar to the other stuff, but again, I still think that Marauders, since they're being beefed up in size, should be Strength 4 natural. But I guess the flails are going to kind of add to that, right? Usually the case. Okay, so we're going to talk about chaotic traits now. So it's a thing that is going to change up how you play your Warriors of Chaos, because it can be used by so many different troops, right? And can be used in your Grand Army, also in your Armies of Infamy. So far we've got 2, the Heralds of Darkness and the Sea Wolves. There are obviously restrictions. So for example, characters, Chaos Lords, Sorcerer Lords may purchase up to 2 traits, whereas Exalted Champions, Aspiring Champions, Exalted Sorcerers, and Marauder Tribe Chieftains may purchase a single chaotic trait. Now that being said, it would be really nice if we had a Marauder Tribe Chieftain model, because, well, you know, we got brand new Marauders, we might as well, right? When it comes to Warriors and Knights, so Chaos Warriors and Chaos Knights may purchase a single chaotic trait. However, Chosen Chaos Warriors and Chosen Chaos Knights may purchase up to 2 chaotic traits. And then for Marauder Tribes, Chaos Marauders, Marauder Horsemen, and Marauder Tribe Berserkers may purchase a single chaotic trait. We still don't know what's going on with the Berserkers, actually. because they should be on 30s now, I'm assuming. And I don't know if the kits can upgrade, if you can make them, and I guess you're going to have to do a lot of kit bashing. And Marauder Huskarls may purchase up to 2 traits because they kind of count as like the Warriors of Chaos style chosen for the Norskins. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting, especially when we start looking at the traits themselves. So Unnatural Fortitude for characters, it's 20 points. For units, is 2 points per model. So unless they're wearing heavy armor or full plate armor, models with this trait improve their toughness by 1 to a maximum of 10, which is pretty good. Makes them a little bit more tough if you're going for, like, say, normal Marauders. So now, Dark Arts, 20 points per character and 1 point per model for a unit. Models whose troop type is infantry or cavalry. If the winning side of a combat includes 1 or more units in which the majority of the models have this chaotic trait, each unit that belongs to the losing side suffers a -1 modifier to its leadership characteristic when making a break test. Models that have this chaotic trait that cause terror or that are immune to psychology are unaffected. I mean, it's situational, it's a bit of a word salad too, but yeah, it's not too bad. Long Striders gets a little bit better though. So for characters, it's 15 points per model, and for units, it's +1 point per model. 0 to 1 per 1,000 points. Unless they're wearing heavy armor or full plate armor, models with this Chaos trait gain the Vanguard special rule. I really like Vanguard, so it works well again if you're doing Wolves of the Sea. There's a few that are going to be quite good for Wolves of the Sea, to be honest. Enhanced Reflexes is next. So 10 points per model for characters or 1 point for units. Whilst engaged in combat, models with this Chaos trait that have chosen to fight with hand weapons get a +2 modifier to their initiative characteristic. Not too bad, not great, but still. And this only works on a single weapon or an ensorcelled weapon. So if you have like 2 hand weapons and stuff, it just doesn't work. Which, not great. Really, it's not amazing. Battle Hunger is +10 points per model for a character or +20 points per unit. So the whole unit gets Battle Hunger, which is great actually. It's really good value for money. Models whose troop type is infantry only. A unit with this can increase its maximum charge distance by 2 inches, and this is only when making a charge or pursuit roll, and they may apply a +D3 modifier to this result. It's pretty good if you like getting like up into the charges quite a lot. I have a lot of pursuits where I've just flat out missed by an inch, so this is useful. Now, Brazen Will. 10 points per model for a character and 15 points for a whole unit. Models whose troop type is infantry or cavalry, actually. Only a unit with this chaotic trait gains magic resistance -1 special rule. That's pretty decent if you're going to be dealing with spellcaster-based armies. And finally, Prophetic Foresight. +10 points per model or +10 points per unit. Enemy units that deploy using the Scout special rule cannot be deployed within 18 inches of this unit, in which every model has this chaotic trait, rather than the usual 12 inches. In addition, enemy units that are deploying using the Ambush special rule may not be placed within 12 inches rather than the usual 8 inch. So, yeah, I mean, that's actually decent if you're dealing with like Cafe right now. Since their Jade Lancers are very dependent on ambushes at the moment, who knows what happens when Cafe Book, what is it, 3 now? Yeah, Cafe Book 3 comes out. Okay, so next we're going to talk about chaotic cults. So this is where things get changed, right? So all models that represent members of the Marauder tribes have the Mark of Chaos Undivided listing among their special rules. So that's still normal, right? They just have Undivided. Of those, some of them have the option to replace the Mark of Chaos Undivided with the mark of a specific Chaos God. Units of Chaos Marauders and Chaos Marauder horsemen instead have the option to belong to a chaotic cult. So a model cannot belong to more than one chaotic cult, and a character with a Mark of Chaos can join a unit belonging to any chaotic cult as normal. So what I see here is basically we are losing the marked Marauders, which is weird, right? This is the way I'm understanding it, because yes, they're still technically marked, but it's going over Norska law rather than going over like Warriors of Chaos generic law. So, praising the gods. Once per game, during the command sub-phase of its turn, a unit belonging to a chaotic cult may implore its patron for their blessing by making a leadership test. If the test is passed, until its next start of the sub-turn phase, all chaotic cult unit models within the unit gain the following benefit. If the test has failed, the unit's implorations go unheeded. So the Cult of the Bloodied Hound, so Khorne, models belonging to this chaotic cult gain a +1 modifier to their weapon skill characteristic. Cult of the Slithering Serpent is models belonging to this chaotic cult gain the Poison Tag special rule. Cult of the Carrying Crow, models belonging to this chaotic cult get +1 toughness. And then finally, Cult of the Fell Raptor, they get a 6 upward against any wounds that were caused by any non-magical attacks. Which, I mean, look, they're actually really good. The problem is that obviously they're once per game, very situational, and you might not just get the proc because of a leadership check. I don't know. I wonder where they're going for this, because they're clearly trying to separate Norska from Warriors of Chaos. But it feels like a very slow way of doing it. That being said, I mean, it's kind of cool to start getting cult stuff. It'd be even nicer if we ended up getting cult units. Like, not just Marauders, but I mean actual cultists. And the last thing we're going to talk about is the new spell lore, because every now and then Games Workshop treats us to a brand new spell lore with like a full lore, rather than the whole split 3 or 2 spells. So we've got the lore of the Shadowlands now, right? Which can be used instead of just like battle magic, demonology, or dark magic. So I'm pretty excited about this. We've got a signature spell here. So this is the Maelstrom of Chaos. It's magic missile 7+, ranges 15 inches. And place a small blast template 3 inch so that its central hole is over the center of the target enemy unit. Once placed, the template will scatter D3 plus 1 inches. Any enemy model whose base lies underneath the template risks being hit and suffers a single strength 4 hit with a -3 AP. What a freaking good signature spell. Sure, there's a bit of a gamble because there is going to be a scatter, but -3 AP is wonderful if you're hitting stuff like Cathayans or Empire Knights. They seem to be kind of popular around my region right now. Obviously, Bretonnian Knights. This is really, really good. This is really, really good for a signature. Wow. So, now we got 6 spells to talk about, right? So we got Blackened Bolt. This is another magic missile, casting value of 8+ and range of 18 inches. The target enemy unit suffers 2d6 strength 3 hits, each with the AP of -1. And any unit that suffered 1 or more unsaved wounds must take a panic test as if they've just taken heavy casualties. It's not bad. Honestly, it's not, yeah, it's strength 3, it's not great, but 2d6, it's a gamble. You could end up with 12 attacks, you could end up with 2, but still, that's not bad for a spell. Veil of Gloom is the next one, and that's an enchantment spell, casting value of 9+ and a range of 15 inches. Until your next start of turn subphase, the target friendly unit gains a 4-up ward save against any wounds suffered that were caused by a template, and a 5-up ward save against any wounds suffered in the shooting phase. So, I mean, it's very situational, but if you're going to be dealing with stuff like High Elves or Wood Elves, just lots of shooting. I do like how some of these spells are, like all the newer stuff, right? It's becoming very situational spells, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad, but it shows that there's a lot of options, right? Vortex of Darkness is next. So this is a magical vortex, 10+ casting value, and a range of 15 inches. So effect remains in place. Place a small 3-inch blast template so the central hole is within 15 inches of the caster. Whilst in play, the template is treated as difficult terrain. The template scatters D6 during the start of every turn subphase. Any unit, friend or foe, that moves through this template or that the template moves over suffers 3d6 strength 2 hits with no armor saves allowed, but ward and regeneration can be taken as normal. Very good for hordes if you're dealing with goblins and stuff. It's still not amazing, but it's decent enough, right? Number 4 is Shadow's Assailant. So this is a Assailant spell. This is a 8+ combat range. A single enemy unit the caster is engaged with suffers 3d6 strength 1 hits, which, strength 1 isn't great, but no armor or regeneration save is permitted. Ward is still fine. Again, against hordes. Still strength 1. So in most cases, 5s or 6s, I guess. But hey, maybe you get lucky. I've seen games where people get very, very lucky. Crawling Mist is number 5. So conveyance spell, casting value of 6+ or 9+, range itself. If this spell is cast with a casting result of 6 or more, a single friendly unit within 6 inches of the caster gains the reserve move special rule. If it's cast with 9 or more, every unit within 6 inches gains a reserve move, which is really good. It only lasts for this turn, but yeah. Again, movement, very, very important for Marauders. You don't really have a lot of range. And the last spell is Chains of Darkness. It's a hex with a casting value of 8+, range of 18 inches. Until your next starter turn subphase, the target enemy unit suffers a -1 modifier to its movement to a minimum of 1 and leadership to a minimum of 2. Overall, yeah, I mean, it's not the most impressive lore. I think I like demonology more, but it's nice to have options. And it could be some cases where you could see uses of it. who knows, maybe I might even take this lore when I got my tournament coming up at Warhammer World. This is a pretty interesting book. Look, there's some pretty cool items and stuff, but I don't want to go over everything or else like there's no purpose of buying the book yourselves. And there's some nice lore to it, a lot of scenarios. It feels weird though, I'm not gonna lie. Because obviously we've got loads of cool traits and we've got loads of cool like additions and stuff. Marauders feel a bit weird. I still don't know what's happening with Berserkers. I'm not sure if they've posted a FAQ today at the same time to say like, oh, they're going on 30s or whatever, because it just feels a little bit out of place at the moment. Chaos really needs to be upgraded. Like, the warriors need to be updated now and so on. It's really funny because the book even has like a picture of Gridal, right? So not Fridal. Gridal is like this corn demon prince thing from like early lore. He has artwork. I actually used it in a thumbnail recently. But yeah, like that's pretty much it. It's a smaller book, but I feel like it adds a decent amount for your Chaos Warriors who are lacking items. Let's be very honest there. Not a lot of God Touch stuff, and some of the items are okay. Like once per turn, you can re-roll a casting roll for 30 points, which isn't too bad. It definitely feels like a filler book. I mean, no units whatsoever, but I mean, item-wise, it's good. The problem is, and this is something that I did mention at the launch of Warhammer the Old World, we're getting to the point that it's going to be book bloat. So either next year is going to be the last year of first edition and we're going to move on to second by the end of it, or we're going to have to start going to events with like multiple books. Obviously, you could have printed out lists and so on. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's about time that we had like a redo of certain books, though. If we're not going to go into second edition, it just kind of feels like we're slowly heading there. Maybe it's about time we got like a smaller book. Remember the rule book back in the day? You had the big red book and then you had the small red book, which was just rules and no fluff. I think we need something like that and just like a redo of certain things. To be fair, like I'm kind of missing army books, but I like the journal system. Like there's a lot of value here. I can't really test the book out. Like I'm in the process of moving and so on. It is a bit of a shit show. But once I'm over there, I've got some friends that I'm going to be playing some games with. And yeah, I'll be able to give it a shot. Because my Chaos armies are ready. Well, ready is objective because it's going to be larger than the showcase that I did for Bretonnia, about 5 or 6 times the size. But I've got enough to play with multiple different styles of army and so on. So yeah, it's just a matter of time. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Let's start a bit of discussion. There are loads of videos coming out today, so yeah, you're gonna get a lot of me. A lot. Oh god, the fact is it's like 40 videos for the next 2 weeks. See ya.